Hello and welcome to another week of game development. So this week I've made some good progress in starting to make an animation system for ECS. There's this version, and I think the actual release version at the moment, I'm not sure, but this version of ECS certainly doesn't have support for animations. So I've started working on a way to get around that. It's a bit messy, but I think this is the best method for me. So I'll just talk you through what I've done so far. So I've made this ECS animator script, and it basically just contains a bunch of information to use. So it's a bit like the animator here. It's a bit like this animation thing, but it's designed to get all the data and then export it. There's probably a way I could do this with animation clips and just convert them. But I thought doing it this way probably is better. So you just give it a name. Let's, what should I call it? Spin or something. You say how many frames it is, the sample rate, so how many frames are in 1 second, and then you have this option to change frames. So this is position. This is frame 0. Then I've just had some buttons here for recording the position, rotation, and scale, and those just take these local positions. Right, this transform up here, and whichever one you do, it just records that. And there's option to reset frame. Basically, if you set the position of a frame and then you realize you don't actually want to keyframe that, you just hit that and it will remove that. Then we've got display frame. So if you already have frame data in there, that just shows you what that is. I can demonstrate that in a minute. And then the use self, that's just a check to say when you click these whether to take this one, and then for each child it'll just be a check mark where you tick which ones you want to use, which is a bit cumbersome, but I'm not doing very complicated hierarchies. Like this chest is only one child, so it's just one option. And then I have the frame data here, that's mostly for debugging at the moment, but as you can see, it tells you which things I've keyframed, and then the place to input the children. So let's move this and then rotate it a bit, and then we'll keyframe the position and rotation, and as you can see, those are both updated. Now if we tick over to position 1, which I already had keyframed, and we click display frame, you can see it moves over to everything that was here. But because we're doing a different thing, I don't actually want that. So if we set back to the previous frame, then we'll do some tweaks. So let's just spin it around or something, and then we'll reset the frame position because I don't want that, and then record the rotation. And there we go. So now if I go frame 0, display, it's that way, 1, that way. So this is only 2 frames. Obviously you do more in an actual animation. But now all I do, I hit generate clip, and it's made this new scriptable object, which at the moment is only containing the length and sample rate. It will obviously include all the frame data, but I haven't decided the best structure for the data, so I've left that for now. Then what I'll do is you'll go back to this, and then add the this ECS animation script, which is a component, and this is like the animator where you just input the clips. I think I haven't actually updated this, it seems, but basically you just input it here, put it in here, but that should be in clips. I'm not sure why that's... Oh, this is just an array of frames at the moment, I think. Oh no, that's just me testing. Okay, but this needs to be updated. So it'll just work like the animator works, where you just have a list of clips, and then I'll make functions to play those and such. So yeah, that's what I've got done so far. I'm pretty happy with it. It was a bit awkward to figure out how to do some of this stuff. Working with the editor can be a bit weird with serializing things sometimes, but I'm happy with how this is. Like I said, it is a bit clunky because you're having to manually do all these, and there's no sort of curves. You can't do any fancy stuff like that. But if I really wanted to, I could make a regular animation as how I want it, and then just step through each frame and just record them on here. So it's not an impossible thing to do, it's just quite awkward. Yeah, so next week I'll get working on actually putting the data through into these clips. Clips files, and then reading that. So yeah, be happy with the progress. Hello, welcome to another week of game development. Now, last week I left you off where we were exporting this animation data. And as you can see here, I now have the data being actually exported to the object. So if I go into play mode now, a minute to load, I've got it set so it just automatically spawns a chest. And now if I go into the hierarchy here and I go into animation testing for the time being, you can see it has this ECS animation component, which has the clips associated, and it tells it the child entity. So now if I hit, I've just got it set to B at the moment, it animates. So there's still plenty of stuff that needs to be done. For example, if I keep hitting B, you can't hear me doing that, but nothing's changing. And I think that's because if I go to chest lid, it's supposed to add a component that animates it. It's not actually doing that. Ah, so here we go. So if I hit that, it's being added and automatically deleted again. So clearly something's wrong with the data that's being assigned. I couldn't tell you what that is, but clearly something is wrong. And then I've only tested the rotation. I haven't tested the positioning. I think the positioning should work fine because it's actually easier than rotation because I don't have to deal with quaternions. And then scale, I haven't touched because this doesn't actually have a scale component attached to it. And I believe that any scale component just does a linear scale, I think. So I need to look into what actually needs to change for this to work. I'm not sure what changes for the scale to be assigned, so that's just something I have to investigate. So yeah, not a lot to see. It was a lot of messing around with working out how to pass the data types and such, get it to work. And then I also wanted to do as much calculations before the data's given as I possibly could. So it's doing some of that stuff beforehand, so it doesn't have to do it on the fly. Yeah, that's all I've done this week, but it's a good step forward, even if it's hard to tell, because technically I could do this before I started doing any of this. but it's now actually running off of this scriptable object rather than a just a set going to set value, which is what it was before. So yeah, I probably should have made more example things to test, but there you go. I had this one. Hello and welcome to another week of game development. It's going to be a very short update this week. Haven't had a lot of time to work on the game, so all I've managed to do is get it so that when a mob eventually decides to come over and interact, this takes a while because I think it's set to idle for looting at the moment when I was testing, and it doesn't help that the looting slide is not showing up at the moment. That does need fixing, but as you can see, ta-da, it now plays the animation. That is literally all I've managed to do. So it's not particularly impressive, but I'm happy about it. But yeah, that's gonna be it. What am I don't really have a set plan for next week because I don't know how much time I'm gonna have then either. But I want to do more testing, make sure the other things work because this is just rotation of the child. So I want to test the parent, and then same with positioning. I need to test that, and I still haven't worked out how to do scaling. So those things need to be done, and then I need to fix the progress indicator for this mob here. There's lots to do. So yeah, I'll see what I get done. But that's it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.